So, greetings again. It's a real honor and pleasure to be here. One of the great passions in my practice is supporting my patients and students in lifestyle practices and dietary practices that enhance their life in this life and perhaps even the next life. So what I mean by that is I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner. I'm a Chinese medical practitioner. I use acupuncture, Ayurveda, yoga, meditation techniques in my practice on a daily basis. So one of the things that I'm most passionate about is supporting people and educating people and understanding how they can make this practical. I also love philosophy. So today we're going to talk about some of the basic principles of Ayurveda, the 5 goals of life. But before we talk about the 5 goals of life in Ayurveda, by the way, Ayurveda means, Ayus means life, and Veda means knowledge. So it means a comprehensive system of medicine that involves all aspects of life. Before we talk about specifically Ayurveda, we need to talk a little bit about yoga. Now, yoga is very popular in the West, which is a wonderful thing. It originally came from India many thousands of years ago. And yoga means to link or to connect. And the real ultimate goal of yoga really is to connect with the self. In Ayurveda or in Sanskrit, that's actually called the Atma. The Atma means the soul or the self, or the part of us that's pure consciousness. There's 3 qualities of the self, and those 3 qualities are known as Sat, Chit, and Ananda. And the goal of yoga is to realize those qualities within ourself, and those qualities are Sat means that part of us, it's actually a Shakti or a power of the self, the part of us which is fully present. So whenever you're fully present, you're in pure beingness, you're right here, that's actually a power, from an Ayurvedic perspective, that's actually a power of the soul, or your own spirit, or your own pure consciousness. The next power is Chit, C-H-I-T, and that is pure consciousness, or pure awareness. So whenever you're contacting that state of being present, fully aware, that's actually considered to be your soul coming through. And thirdly is Ananda. Ananda means happiness or bliss. It also connects to the capacity for pure love. And whenever you're feeling real happiness, real bliss, that's actually a quality of your soul coming through. So yoga ultimately is a process of connecting with that very essential part of our true nature, that Sat Chit Ananda, that pure beingness, pure consciousness, and pure bliss. So that's yoga. Ayurveda is the sister of the yoga system. Ayurveda is a system of medicine which is fully aligned with the principles of yoga. By practicing the system of Ayurveda, it keeps us in the proximity of the purpose or the goal of yoga. So it's a system of medicine that's in harmony with the human being. It's in harmony with being human, having a body, but it's also in harmony with the reality that we're a pure consciousness and our true nature is Sat Chit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge, and full of bliss. So it's a very balanced system, actually. It fully includes all aspects, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And their whole system is based on that. So the 5 goals of life are very interesting. The first goal is a word that many of you have probably heard, which is called Dharma. Dharma means the quality that is inherent within something. It's been defined at different times as law or religion or duty or purpose in life. But just like the Dharma of water is liquid, meaning if there's water, it's always going to be liquid. Or the Dharma of fire is heat and light. You can't take away heat and light from the fire. It's always going to be there. So every human being in their life has the desire or the goal to experience their own Dharma. And in this life, we could think of that as, what is my life purpose? What is my bliss, as many people say? Who am I when I'm serving the highest? Who am I when I'm doing the best work I can possibly be doing? Who am I when I'm really connected to my own essence and sharing that with my friends, my family, and the world that I live in? This is Dharma. We can have different dharmas in our life. We may be a parent for some time, and you could say that's your dharma, taking care of, that's where the duty part comes in. You know, taking care of the children, this is our dharma. So we have temporary dharmas in our life, and we have deeper dharmas that are much more connected to our true essence or soul nature. The next goal is artha. Artha means that which is necessary. And we've had a few talks here today about economic development. So artha means that which is necessary. Everybody, every human being has the goal or the desire for economic security. Now, whether that means having a little hut on the side of a street in India, or whether it means having a mansion, everybody has a different standard of artha, or the need for economic security. But everybody has that need. Everybody cannot be satisfied unless they have a safe place to sleep, food, water, the basic necessities of life. The next goal of life is calm. Calm means pleasure. Every living being wants pleasure of some kind. So calm is pleasure that's, in Ayurveda, having too much pleasure creates imbalance, and not having enough pleasure also creates imbalance. So, and I'll get back to this in a minute, how calm relates to Dharma. So everybody has that need. In fact, it's said that every living entity seeks pleasure, and even the trees reaching for the sun is the calm of the tree. It gets pleasure from seeking toward the sun. So every living being is seeking pleasure and avoiding suffering. This is our nature. And then the fourth goal is called moksha. Moksha means freedom or liberation. In the highest sense, it means liberation from the conditioning of the mind, the body, the emotions, the amygdala, right? It means connecting to our deepest spiritual essence. This is what moksha really means. But it's also very much related to freedom, just like, I'm sorry, the woman who spoke in the very beginning, the beautiful talk, the historical talk about those women, Scott, I forget her first name, but who was the woman who was the first woman who really spoke up for women's rights. And that was the desire for moksha. That was the desire for freedom. We all have that innate, inherent desire and need for freedom. It's just part of our nature. It's part of our soul. It's how we're wired. And the fifth goal is prem. Prem means love. So this is considered to be the most important goal of Ayurveda, and the most important goal actually in yoga. We all probably have heard or understood that when a baby doesn't get love, they don't properly develop. When we don't get the love that we need as infants, we don't develop. When we don't contact that love that's in our own hearts and share it, we don't develop. Our society doesn't develop, and things go awry when love isn't there. But it's also part of our spiritual practices in Ayurveda is to connect to that very essential part of ourselves. When I said before, Sat Chit Ananda, Ananda, bliss, is absolutely connected to love. There cannot be happiness without love. Which brings me back to this idea about calm or pleasure. How is that connected? Many people, some even traditions from the East, sort of put pleasure down, or we should renounce and deny the pleasures of life. And of course, there's other traditions, even the East, some more tantric systems that might say, no, you have to enjoy and get into those systems, those aspects of pleasure. Well, the idea of balanced pleasure in human life relates to Dharma. If you're actually connected to your nature, connected to your essence, then by following your Dharma, by following your true nature, by being yourself, there's a wonderful verse in the Bhagavad Gita that I'll paraphrase. Krishna says to Arjuna, it's better to be yourself imperfectly than be someone else perfectly. So it's better to be yourself imperfectly than to be someone else perfectly. So from the perspective of the system of yoga, meditation, Ayurveda, the yoga system, by becoming more and more authentic, by becoming more and more real, automatically we make spiritual advancement. Automatically we grow. We can't help it. It's nature. So Ayurveda, yoga, these systems ultimately take the layers, start taking the layers off of our, what in these systems call the false ego. They're just really layers of self-conceptions and conditioning. And as we get deeper and closer to our soul, or our Atma, which again is made up of Sat Chit Ananda, or another way of describing that is life, pure life energy, pure light energy, pure awareness, pure knowledge, pure consciousness, and pure love energy. And this is what the ancient system of yoga and Ayurveda directs us toward. So this is basically a wonderful system. And by understanding these goals, we understand another thing, is that everybody has these basic goals of life. It's not that some people have them, some people don't. We all have them, and we all have the right and the capacity and the ability to connect to our Dharma, connect to our true nature. We all have the ability to connect enough that we can actually attain a healthy level of freedom, especially, and this is where karma comes in. We're very fortunate in a country like this that we live in right now, that we're very fortunate that we have so much capacity for moksha, or freedom, in our culture. I remember traveling all over the world a number of years ago and thinking, coming back to America, and really actually, for the first time in my life, really tasting what it is to feel patriotic, because I realized how much freedom we have to think and create and do and be ourselves in this country as opposed to many other countries in the world. It's really quite remarkable. So I just want to end on that note. I want to thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.